Switch Oney is a lovely YouTube channel. I wish that I could make content as inspiring as Switch Oney or Switchy. Kyle, how the fuck do you say your name?
Alright, my dudes, Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch is coming out this year, and I am a Super Smash Bros. Connoisseur, so I'll be talking about what the game needs to be an improvement over Smash 4. One rule: no character-related segments. The characters who should be in Smash for the Switch are what really matters, but the changes and additions we'll be talking about here are for a better game overall, beyond the characters. You know, it honestly bothers me how short it took to unlock all the characters in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, and it was even worse in the Wii U version. I shouldn't be able to unlock all the game's characters by killing myself as Fox 100 or so times. It's stupid. I know the newcomers are an important part of the game, but characters like Shulk do not need to be there from the start. Honestly, this is what the selection of Smash 4 characters should have been from the start. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too much luck content, but this kind of stuff is important to the game. It's fun to unlock characters, especially when they're surprise characters that are hard to get. I want to be pushed to my limited order to unlock a character, doing really well in like Cruel Smash and stuff, beating Classic Mode on hard, just stuff that you set out for a prize. One of the most memorable parts of playing the earlier Smash Bros. Games for me is the feeling of working hard and being rewarded with new characters, but in Smash 4 I just didn't get the feeling. Also, keep a few characters from being revealed before the game's release. It's always really fun being able to unlock a character you've never seen before. I know these days it's harder to free yourself from those spoilers, but I just hate how Nintendo games show everything in a game before it releases. As I said, it was pathetically easy to unlock characters in Smash 4, and I want to be challenged and get a good reward. The challenger approaching meme is dying, and we need to fix that. You know what really sucks? Picking stages to play in Super Smash Bros. Melee. When it comes to legal stages, there's like 5 of them, and they all have only 2 songs, and those songs don't include the 4-side theme, so it sucks. Thank God for Omega Form. Omega Form was one of the best ideas in Super Smash Bros. 4. It let you enjoy the music and visuals of an illegal stage, but also, it was legal. But there was one problem. All the stages were Final Destination. This was lame. What I think they should do is change up some of the legal versions of stages. Make some of them Battlefield clones, and some of them Smashville clones. I know the no items Fox only Final Destination meme may give you the idea that competitive Smash Bros. Players only want to play on FD, but they actually want more than that. My favorite stage in Smash for Wii U is Smashville, and it'd be cool to play that level with Earthbound music and stuff. Think about it, wouldn't it make stage choices much more fun? I don't know, of all the legal stages, Final Destination is mechanically the most boring. Smash is fun when you have platforms to play around on, and adding those in now and then would be swell for everyone. Subspace Emissary was too cool. I don't care about the gameplay. Just make sure we have a bunch of cinematics of our favorite characters again. It was so cool seeing famous Nintendo characters work together to save the world and stuff. Now, the adventure mode doesn't need to be as long as a Subspace Emissary, but as long as we can get some sweet animations to use in YouTube videos, I'm down. In fact, it might be better if it's closer to the Melee adventure mode in length. Now that I think about it, you know what would be cool? An adventure mode for each character. Basically, every character has a 20 or 30 minute adventure with its own animations and stuff. And I guess if you want to play Samus' stage as Mario or something, that could be an option later on, or something. It might go hand in hand with more diverse requisites to unlock characters. Stuff like that would be great. This is actually really common in fighting games, and honestly, it makes way too much sense. Just be sure to PayPal me, Sakurai. This wasn't necessarily a rule, but when I was deciding entries for this list, I wanted to stick to things that developers had direct control of. It's why I'm not going to talk about the straight up retarded amiibo stock handling, but I think the way they handle DLC is too important for me to not ignore. Recently, Phil Spencer has mentioned that he's okay with Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash 5, and I know it sounds fun to rejoice already, but that means Banjo-Kazooie aren't going to be in Smash 5. At least in the base game. Recently, Overwatch has been a mostly excellent example of how to continue developing a video game. Free new characters and stages, but you can spend money to get costumes and stuff. I'm fine with paying money for Mii costumes, but we shouldn't have to spend $30 on extra characters, especially when a few of them should have been in the base game. Besides the complications of tournaments, it's just unfun. I'm fine with spending money for shit like Amiibo, but DLC characters should be free. At least the veterans, especially when the game is already going to be $60. Also, make sure the DLC characters have custom moves and stuff, and Palutena's guidance sessions. Why do you bring in the Uprising voice actors to voice the Bayonetta trailer, but they can't even voice a Palutena's guidance in the game? Traditional fighting game fans tend to look down upon Super Smash Bros. For its lack of combos and its general casualness, even in competitive environments. The one exception is kinda Melee, and this is one of the biggest debates in the community. What game's physics are better? Actually, no, I think everyone with a brain will agree that Melee is the most competitive game in the Smash series in terms of movement and skill ceiling. Smash 4 is able to keep up because of its superior balance and better roster, but I don't think anyone really thinks that fast-paced combat is a bad thing. So why the fuck aren't we returning to fast-paced combat? Is it because casual players don't like it? Because really, I don't think they care. Melee did fine with its speed. Do Super Smash Bros. 4 players really prefer the physics of their game? Really? Like, Smash 4 definitely has a higher skill ceiling than Brawl, but it's rather unfortunate how far people go to find text and cheats in Smash 4, and how rarely they actually make a difference. I just don't see a downside in bringing back directional air dodging and stuff. Everyone loved it, and bringing back harder to master skills will increase your skill ceiling, thus increasing competitive potential, thus increasing media attention, thus increasing revenue, thus cementing this game as a classic. You know, it's pretty ironic how Nintendo makes the best competitive games when it tries the least. Hello, and thank you for watching this video. Feel free to let me know what kinds of things you'd like to see in the next Super Smash Bros. Sorry that I haven't uploaded in a month. I've had a lot of trouble thinking of good video ideas in the past few weeks. Thanks for tuning in.